Hello, everybody.
Welcome back
to the Afterhours Podcast.
Season finale, part 2.
Yeah, this is part 2, right? So today we have a very special guest. A guest for you.
Plural.
We got some Sacred Heart kids, much like the Jordan Barisic episode, which I know you all loved.
Woo!
Still
Shout
waiting.
out Jordan.
We shout her out, but we're still waiting for her shout out. So
Still waiting.
we'll get there. We'll get there someday. So we'll start. So we have me, Roman, Damien, Nathan for the final time, and then we have Nicholas Franz, Dec Pollard, Andy Halley-Wright, Angus Hern, Dec Williams, and Mitch Williams. Don't get them confused; they're not related. But that's what we have from the other school, which is pretty extraordinary. Podcast bringing some people together. And from, our own stretch of the woods, we have Karam from episode 5. How can anyone forget? And then we also have Emily Bradley from episode 6, which was a pretty good episode, I won't lie. And we also have Patrick Kenny back on, which is amazing. And also the marvelous and wonderful Bethany Walraven, who actually created the logo. So let's start off with that. The logo creation, the thing that people look at every single day, but they never know really where it came from, because they think that we made it, but in reality we're not that gifted, so we got someone else to do it who was gifted. So can you take us through the creation process of that?
Creation process was just looking at some ideas, specifically like neon lighting, to create sort of after hours nighttime look, where it's a bit more casual, a bit it's not in school, it's something different.
Something different. That's a wonderful way to call it.
It's less formal than your everyday. It's just what happens after.
Yeah, it's after hours.
Mm-hmm.
Your turn.
My turn to do what?
Yep.
All right, speak. So we got some questions for you. Roman's come up with these, so I don't know if they're gonna be any good or not. But
Are they good?
I don't know. Let's get into it. All right.
What do you think about do you think this has created a connection between schools?
I mean, I feel weird. I'm not gonna lie.
Why do you feel weird?
I feel like we're invading your.
You're not
land.
meant to be here.
No, you're welcome.
Yeah, because I came. I was nice that because people listening, right? Roman and Damien, they met us outside. And they kind of they showed us through the school, which was nice.
We escorted
but
you.
still, yeah, I don't know. But when we got into school, people were just who are these men? And wait, man, yeah.
The question is, did the podcast bring people?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess it did. Yeah.
You're answering as if we brought you into the school. We brought you.
You brought
together.
us into the school.
We've been abducted into the school.
How many listeners do you have at your school?
Of
our podcast?
They're all here.
Just 6 people.
You had Jordan Barisic on the program.
Wait,
if you ask her.
Oh yeah,
about
Jordan.
the show.
Jordan probably listens. Maybe.
I hope so.
I
I don't know, to be honest with you.
What about a Riley?
She does.
Really?
Really?
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
So
So
she's a fan.
Oh, my brother listens. My twin brother, Alex.
Yes, big listener.
I walked into the house and I see him listening. It's always quite sweet. You created an intersection between schools where we can all come together.
Wow.
I'm blushing.
I mean,
genuinely.
maybe in a couple of years' time, there'll be heaps of schools with their own podcasts.
Exactly.
And it'll be like a rivalry, a competition between who has the best podcast.
Have you picked your next host who you're passing the baton on to?
We have discussed that between ourselves. We have thought about it, and that is yet to be announced, but it's in the works for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We'll get back to you.
One day, while they're reading out who the leadership roles are next year, they'll also read out who's got the Afterhours podcast.
That is the wish.
They'll just be like, here's head boy, head girl, and then After Hours podcast, and then
everyone
will just be like,
how did I not get that?
one kid will break down, cry, run out.
That's the dream. Genuinely.
Yeah, I dream about that.
The breaking down crying or
hosting the After Hours podcast.
That's my next question. Has this made? Do you think people are more enticed to create podcasts in other schools now?
Are you acting as if you've had such a huge conversation?
What do you mean?
Yeah, here, aren't you?
That's 100.
Podcast have you been watching? I don't know.
It's just the whole suburb of just
Or Hillary's.
Hillary's, yeah, just Roman.
Yeah, but we're going global next. I think that's.
Oh no,
we have gone global.
We've gone. What's
Italy, Germany, America,
Switzerland.
and Switzerland.
Switzerland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey, and Greece.
Why not? Put them in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I going to say? We've gone across suburbs, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you guys live in Sorrento or around there.
Yeah, they're still classified cities, actually.
Oh, okay,
so that's a bit of a lie.
Okay,
Well, I'm from Mullaloo.
Mullers,
Ooh,
alright.
ambitious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's 2 suburbs north of here. That's quite far.
We're connecting the northern suburbs, one podcast.
Yeah.
We're creating unity where there was number 4. Okay, what's the next question?
I think we should get the people who've been guests on before talking. I don't know about you. But Karam, you're here.
Hello.
Did you enjoy the podcast you were on? Was it a good experience?
I enjoyed it. It was a good time, and I enjoyed listening to all the podcasts.
Have you listened to all of them?
I've
Because a lot of people say that, and they haven't really.
I have not listened to all of them.
Oh.
I've listened to, I'd say like 60-70% of them.
That's still good.
60 of them.
There's only 20, dude.
I wish.
But I just think it was a really good idea. But I think you guys are talking about how it's like permeated other schools, but it hasn't really. But that can be the
Whoa.
that can be the
Hard
goal.
truth from Karam.
It's like maybe one school, but
I
we
reckon-
can aim for more schools.
And that's what it's all about at the Afterhours Podcast, aiming for brighter futures and unity, really.
So you know how they have the ACC sports stuff? Like, I reckon they'll have ACC podcasts
I think they should.
very
We-
soon in the future.
We could have northern suburbs,
The South.
only the people with podcasts meeting up once a year for like a communal meeting, and they can meet about the future of podcasts.
I think it would just be
It's going to be like the most elite, prestigious club schools in our generation will ever have to offer.
And I'll be like chess club.
Well, I mean, chess clubs are pretty. You know, have you seen those guys? They're massive. Scary, man.
Emily's also here.
Emily?
From the famous Cameron versus Emily episode.
Our first and only ever debate.
Yeah. Emily, how's it going?
It's good.
You excited to be here?
Yeah, really
I'm
keen.
good, thanks. Yeah, I didn't really know where I was going with this conversation, but Emily is here.
How has the podcast impacted you?
The podcast, I can't actually listen to it.
You know what? That's also okay.
Wait, you didn't listen to your episode?
That's the one I uploaded the most.
Do you know,
really?
Do you know I've never listened to a single episode?
Oh,
You've been on a
I
lot.
think
Why
I-
would you listen?
You're in all of
Alright.
them.
Are they edited? Who edits them? Or
They're
just
not
the
really
raw-
edited.
They're not edited.
They're only edited if we have to swear and cut stuff out.
Oh, do you
swear.
Have to.
But,
we just talked feeling like.
yeah, I think I've listened to most of them, or like parts. of most
He's the one that edited, so he has to listen to them.
Yeah, yeah. You just steal all the glory, hey. But
Oh, what a sad
definitely not
life we lead.
salty. All right, Patrick Kenny is also here.
I am.
Our first and only Year 11 guest.
Probably also the only person who appreciates Herbert Hoover. So
As their favorite U.S. president.
Look,
which is
buddy,
quite
he's the
bizarre.
greatest
which is
one.
usually frowned upon, but for it is actually still frowned upon. Herbert Hoover.
I think Patrick, you're actually lined up to be head boy of St. Mark's next year, aren't you?
Can you give some comments on
I think
that?
that deserves a round of applause.
Really?
Yes, it was confirmed on Monday.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Do you have any words of wisdom for the future?
For the cohort that you're now in charge of.
Yeah.
We're in charge now, so do what you like.
That's it.
We are the captain now.
Awesome. So, moving on very swiftly. I don't think we should go to that yet. That's a good
Yeah, we'll do that
controversial.
next.
We'll just warm up.
What?
What has been your favorite aspects of this podcast?
Roman.
Open to everyone. Is it just
Probably
Roman?
Roman's voice. Soothing voice.
I will acknowledge that Roman does have a very
Dulcet tone.
it's
I don't
radio
even know what that
friendly.
means.
He's
voice
got a
that you
face for
tune
radio.
into. If people could see your face, I don't know if we would have that many listeners.
Oh, man.
But the voice has kept them in. Yeah.
I watch it for Nathan.
Oh,
No, you shouldn't.
do you want to explain why, Andy?
Tell you when you're
It's
older.
just always nice how
Not allowed to talk
every
about
once
that.
in a while he'll throw in a quip rather, and you have to watch the entire episode to try and
See when Nathan came
see
out.
when Nathan.
Wow.
He is
It's like playing Where's Waldo.
Exactly.
legit, but it's Nathan.
Where's Nathan? Where's Nathan emotionally? Where
Yeah, Nathan.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's
Should we go through that?
Should
talk
we
about
delve
Nathan.
into that?
Let's talk about Nathan, man.
What about
Nathan, you don't get much airtime, light.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it. Yeah. So Nathan, this is your moment to Speak.
Tell us
is you,
about
man.
This is
life
Nathan
at
Jackson.
home. Or anything.
Life at home's pretty good, man.
That's good.
Would you like to elaborate on that?
What's so good about it?
Because a lot of people don't have that sort of
home?
life at the moment,
Oh, right.
or just a pretty good life at home with exams and stuff. But you, on the other hand,
Yeah, I've just been Netflix originals and 2-minute noodles for the past 3 weeks.
Wow.
Nothing
Can we get a
bad.
round of applause for that?
Living the life.
I swear 2-minute noodles actually take longer than 2 minutes to make.
No.
I know if it's just me,
Depends.
but do you guys agree?
Is that the
No.
controversial
No.
topic?
They don't.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
I mean, the 2 minutes
follow
is
the
Because I make them a bit funny. I put them in a pot with water, just covering the noodle cake thingy, and then I cook it until all the water has gone.
Do you know how to cook noodles?
I do. Has
So
gone
funny.
into the actual noodle cake, and it's really
Cake.
Yeah, I have
noodle
no idea where you're
overcooked,
at.
and it's
I
really
It is
like
okay.
squishy, and like it's like all the flavor has gone into the actual noodle. It's not noodles sitting in like a pool of flavored water.
I think you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
yeah.
this takes more
This
time.
is
And when
This
you
is
start
revolutionary
timing the
thinking.
noodles,
You like leave
start
it
when
overnight?
Yeah, I let it.
Infuse it.
what's it
24-hour
called?
bake.
And then you put the icing on top, and then
Yeah.
You get up
It's
the
like
knife
saying
and
my
you cut
pizza
it.
that cooks for 1 hour, I leave it in for 5 hours because I like it brown. But I don't know why it doesn't work.
You
How
gotta let
many-
it marinate overnight. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many sugar cubes do you put in your 2-minute noodles?
sugar cubes.
Yeah,
What do you want?
And
I put sugar
and a
canes
cup of
in
milk.
mine.
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, back to Nathan and his.
So, what's your favorite flavor of 2-minute noodles? Do you like Indomie?
Yeah, I do. I
Nice. Okay. Cool.
It's Indomie and then chicken.
Let's go back to not Nathan talk. That's it.
You don't like Nathan talking?
No, just kidding.
Nathan, do you have anything for the viewers at home?
For the viewers at home,
The last
thanks for
ever thing you'll
listening.
say.
I know you're only listening to me. and
Because a
that's
lot of
really
people,
sweet.
they're like,
Thanks, Andy.
I want more Nathan. Where is Nathan at?
The Nathan podcast. The After Nathan podcast.
That's my podcast number 4.
We should do that where we have a podcast and then afterwards we both leave and it's just Nathan.
It's like the
Alone.
spin-off.
Like the last half an hour.
It's just 10-30 minutes of
The
just Nathan.
after hours podcast.
Because the TV show Friends, when it finished, had a spin-off called Joey, which starred Joey character.
Nathan.
This is like the spin-off podcast with Nathan.
And it'll be called Hey, It's Nathan.
Or something like that,
I'd be
yeah.
so happy for
And it's like-
And it'll be like,
He'd just be like,
No.
hey, how you doing? What did he say?
No.
How you doing?
How you
How you doing?
How you
Yeah.
doing? And then everyone would be like, oh, Nathan.
And then he'd
Yeah.
eat
Well,
2
no
minute
one
noodles
actually
for an hour.
responds back.
Watch Netflix
Wait, what?
originals.
no one responds back because it's a podcast.
Because this isn't a live thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm not sure if you're.
We're not filming
I
for
was
a
just-
live audience, I'm afraid.
I was dreaming again.
You guys need?
Laugh tracks.
We can't afford that. We don't have the resources.
You don't have the rights or anything really. We struggle to get sponsorships.
Oh.
I think the uniform shop was maybe going to but yeah, it kind of fell through. We couldn't really get the
They didn't
numbers.
agree.
Wait, is this?
Yeah, so there's a bit of
No, it's
beef
not
there,
very
but we've moved on from it. Yeah.
Nice.
I think the canteen was our second option, but
Oh, right.
yeah,
They didn't agree with
we were
what
gonna get free spicy chickens at lunchtime. It just didn't work out. Yeah,
They didn't agree with our views.
they couldn't agree. They couldn't get behind us. Yeah.
Next.
Next question. Okay, I think we have one for Patrick here. Does your point of view of school change for better or worse, knowing that there is a podcast? I don't really understand this question myself, so I don't know how you're going to interpret this, but
Hasn't changed anything.
it hasn't changed anything, though.
It's just been one of those side things. It's like the music department, it's just there.
Oh,
That's a bold statement.
So I don't know about you,
Accurate.
but in the year 12 cohort, there's quite the buzz around the podcast. Have you felt that?
I think,
Have you felt this?
I've never once heard anyone just bring up in conversation without already
Dude.
talking about the podcast.
Whenever
Hey,
I
did you
go,
listen to the podcast? This doesn't happen.
whenever at parties, like,
We've
yo, I
got
love your
less-
podcast.
We've got less views
No,
per
that's
video.
true. At parties, people do come up and say they love the podcast.
They do.
Really?
I've
I've heard that.
I've been
I've heard
approached
that
by many
first.
I have
people.
approached you in real life and said,
Yeah,
I
at
like
Curtin
your
University.
podcast.
I love
Yeah.
your podcast. So
I've talked to Roman about it.
Thank
Once,
you.
Thanks,
maybe.
Dec.
Thanks.
Sorry, I just. Yeah.
It's okay.
I just.
I mean,
It's growing, it's developing. This is the first year.
I think perhaps to help answer your question, Patrick, I think this podcast has brought our cohort more together, and we've become more friendly as a result, because this is quite a social thing. You're getting people on, you're having conversations. So
How many
perhaps,
people have you had on? Like,
well,
you
if you
count
look
them on
at
the
the
wall.
wall behind us here,
Yeah,
you
but-
see that we've had about like 20 maybe,
I think you've had a good range of people.
25.
A good range of people.
Yeah.
Next they'll end racism.
What? I think so. Yeah, that's quite
Yeah.
appropriate.
Do you try to choose your guests from like different sort of groups?
Of course,
within-
of course. So we had
Yeah.
Kaylin
20
on.
guests.
Kaylin was a prefect, so we got that kind of aspect. We had
leader.
Nathan on next, who was the information guy.
He was easily
We
accessible.
had Karam, who had a musical background, specializing in classical
Yes.
stuff. Yeah, we
And
got.
trumpet.
We had Cameron and Emily on, of course, who were
Philosophy.
master debaters of philosophy. We had Mr. Andrews on, who's my former teacher. He's a biology teacher, and yeah, he's pretty cool. We had Luke on, who was a
The drama aspect of
drama student. Then we had our foreign exchange students who were here, 3 of them. We had Johannes, we had Anya, and we had Nicolo. I pronounced it horribly, I'm sorry. And yeah, that was pretty cool. We had Mr. Kendall, who's a humanities teacher here. And then we had the SoundCloud rappers,
Wait.
Troy, Ben. Oh, I accidentally missed Jordan.
Jordan
Oh.
Barasage, probably
Hi,
the most-
Jordan.
Shout out to Jordan.
Shout out
Harrison.
Jordan.
The
YouTube
16,000
sensation.
subscribers, YouTube sensation, taught me what fashion really was, and you know,
Let's do a mukbang with her.
We were.
we should.
Exactly.
I've seen her episode with the with KFC.
That guy was.
Yeah,
was
Ethan
Ethan
Massage.
Massage.
Yeah.
Inspirational.
We should do that together, you and I and Jordan.
Yes. Yeah. Give me a call where you want it to happen. It's done.
Jordan.
Okay. Then we had Miss Bacalus on, who was a humanities teacher as well. Patrick on, of course, who's kind of just an all-round legend, I think. Like, Mr. Shattuck says that you're very interesting and charismatic, and I think that does you justice. So
Thank you. I did enjoy being on here. I could finally express my Herbert Hoover views
yeah,
without being judged.
that was quite very good. And then we had Professor Tim Dean of philosophy, who was a
From over east and very
what even
smart.
was he? Was he like a
He was
He had a
philosophy
doctorate
in
in
residence?
philosophy.
Yeah, philosopher in residence here with our philosophy teacher, Mr. Rogers, and then we had Max Bremer, Georgia Ellis,
Max Bremer.
Max Bremer. I mean,
There's nothing else to say about him. It's incredible.
Would you say that the podcast has brought you two as hosts together?
I think it
Yeah.
has done.
Did you come into the podcast as close friends already?
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
think we did. Yeah, I wouldn't have done it without him if I had barely knew him.
Would you say the friendship's got tighter?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, we've had to
Yeah.
communicate more and talk and collaborate on ideas and
Long
stuff.
nights
so
together.
staying up late,
Just 2 boys.
eating 2-minute meals. Yeah.
How cute.
They look kind of like a couple together. Roman's
Speaking
got like his
of-
knee over it.
Me and Roman actually did a performance thingy together. Well, no, no. We did
Another
we did
webcam show.
We did like a speech. We did like a speech for 0 to Hero Day.
Oh,
no one
yeah.
heard it.
Which
It's
was quite cool.
We are child performers.
I think
we
are,
got
yeah.
that on our resume now.
Yeah, we performed in front
It's
of
in.
a lot.
I've got my opinion from
Speak up, man. Speak
at the
up.
bottom of the balcony.
Yeah.
No one could hear you from up the top.
Oh, you could down
When was
in the
this?
normal part.
Really?
On
Oh.
0 to
0 to
Hero
Hero
Day,
Day.
I think only the year 2s to
Could you
Year
hear
twos
me?
and year 12.
year 2s
I
and year
could hear
12s.
you. I was
Really?
like way back.
Emily could
I
hear
couldn't.
us.
I was standing in the
Oh, maybe it's
courtyard
just
and
me.
heard nothing.
Yeah, same.
Oh no, this was like in the we had like a mini something.
Oh, I
I
see.
hear what you're saying.
Yeah, and then we had Sam Colling and Harry Quayle, who you can't see up here, but yeah, they were also on, and yeah. And now we've done the finale yesterday, and this is part 2, so that's
Here
where
we
we're
are.
at with the podcast. So I think we answered that question somehow. Moving on, these are all terrible questions.
Yeah, I
so,
know.
How about we ask you?
How about you? Yeah,
No.
Okay.
We go to Declan Williams, who will say something on 3.
Declan
2.
is the academic prefect of your school, right?
Yeah, it's correct actually. Yeah.
Ooh.
Take us through that.
Yeah.
Well, look, it does have a certain stigma around it. I'm not
Of
gonna
course,
lie.
yeah.
I've gone through my fair share of oppression throughout my year as
Yeah.
academic prefect.
Are you the smartest guy in the year?
I wouldn't want to make that claim.
But you
Um,
are though, because you have the
no one else
title.
would either.
There's a separation between street smarts and book smarts. Whereas Declan walks around the school clueless, bumping into people, saying
True,
dumb things.
true.
And
And yet,
then he sits a test. And
I'm
he'll-
pondering, the facts of the universe at the same time.
He's a
So,
special snowflake.
Who can really judge? But yeah, like the academic captain at Sacred Heart, it's more about the extracurricular activities, sort of managing those different
And what would those
aspects.
include?
Not a podcast.
We're looking at Tournament of Minds, debating, various World Scholars Cups,
Chess
etc.
Club.
Chess
That's
Club,
lovely, dear.
big one.
World
Philosophy
Scholars
Club.
Cups are those like
World Scholars
Sports
Club.
or
They're a bit crazy on alpacas actually, which is
alpacas?
Yeah, it's an interesting sort of franchise.
You
that
buy
they do.
alpacas?
Not live ones, stuffed ones, hundreds.
Not like taxidermy.
You're making
like,
it sound
like,
so much more
As
interesting.
in toys?
Yeah, it's actually terrible. It's really bad. But I have gone through the experience once myself. Haven't done it again. I've actually dissuaded more people from doing it rather than
I'm so
encouraged.
confused.
He's really selling
Are
it
you
to
saying you
isn't he?
make toy alpacas?
No. I'm saying
Or you stuff alpacas?
I help the students
You just find
engaging
them?
in the World Scholars Cup to prepare for the competition. It's an outside competition.
And what does alpacas have to do with anything?
Look, you're
Who
telling
knows?
you'd have a better idea than I would.
How? You're the one that brought it up.
Exactly.
I'm moving on to Mitchell Williams.
Moving on.
Me.
What are your thoughts on having the same last name as Dec Williams?
Uh,
Yale name.
People don't really confuse us sometimes,
Okay.
except Miss Highwood did once.
I disagree, but okay.
You confuse us a lot?
No.
Then
But
what-
I would
Do you
discredit
find
out
yourself
people.
in Dec and Shadow?
He's
you know-
more in my shadow, I find.
I think
But are
physically
you
the time.
wait? Hold
Physically,
on.
perhaps.
Physically, I'm smaller.
How about
but
intellectually?
intellectually, leagues ahead.
How about socially?
Same.
Let's not go there.
How about economically?
Way ahead.
Way ahead, yeah?
economically,
You have a job?
Sorrento living.
Yes,
What do you
got
do?
a job. I work at Event Cinemas, Whitford, just across the road. Actually, I just got a job at Bunnings yesterday. So
Oh, big
awesome.
listeners.
Congratulations.
Big listeners at Bunnings.
Is the main job, not events and
yeah,
What are you talking
Guess who
about?
didn't get the job at Event Cinema?
he didn't.
Dec Williams.
Yeah,
That's a fair point,
Exactly.
to be honest.
Yeah.
But then I will say that was through my integrity. I was honest. I said I was going away on holiday, and
There's a lack of social
that
intelligence.
was a deal. It
is
was a
the
deal.
word they
It was a
used,
deal
so-
breaker. But I did get through the entire interview process, group interviews and everything.
No
so.
one cares.
They'll
until you
probably
get the
being
job.
nice.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, well,
Can we get a round of applause for that?
academic questions.
Nick
Incredible.
hasn't said much so far.
Yeah.
Nick, what's going on?
Not much.
Not much. You enjoying school?
I was enjoying school all the way up until the last couple of weeks because we finished everything. So it's sort of just really boring and like, let's study for the exam that you haven't.
Are you
put
sad
in.
school's coming to an end? Like, that part of your life's coming to a close now? Or
Not really.
not really, no?
It's not really.
I'm suffering from that a little bit. not gonna lie.
I'm excited to go to university. Really.
What are you going to study?
I'm hoping to go to UWA
Yeah.
and do a Bachelor of Philosophy.
Ooh,
But
big rig.
it's
over here.
not exactly what people think it is. So people think Bachelor of Philosophy is actually philosophy.
Yeah.
But if you know anything about unis, it's just an integrated
If you know
honours year.
anything?
No. So if you know what honours is, right?
I don't.
So honours
explain it for the
is
kids at
a research year, right? So after you do a degree, you can apply to do a research year. So normally a degree takes about 4 years to do. Then you do a research degree or research part, which is another year. But Bachelor of Philosophy just means you do 4 years and you get your research year throughout that time.
Wow.
Right?
And how many girls does that get you?
Let's say
Too many.
one.
Oh.
One more than
What's her
you.
name?
One more.
Oh.
I can already hear crickets.
You can see the chemistry.
But because it was talking about chemistry, right?
Philosophy.
All right, moving on.
Alright, has this podcast encouraged you guys to make your own podcasts at your school or
No.
no,
No.
not really?
We don't have one, so no.
No.
That's why the question was.
That's
do
why
you
it
want
was,
to make
was
one?
asked. Like, would you want?
I thought you said, did it encourage you
no,
to
like,
make
has
one?
it encouraged? Like, would you guys?
Well,
see
no,
yourself-
because we don't have one.
I feel like we are more open
If the answer
to
was yes, we would have one. We would invite you onto it.
Oh, thank you. That's very
the
sweet.
fact that you have your podcast. I
Yeah.
think has opened the idea more so than if you hadn't done the idea at all.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But you know, it's a tough competitive world in the podcast.
It very
industry,
yeah, it is.
so
I mean,
we're scared if we start one up, we're just gonna get you
You
guys already
are.
have that spot.
Eaten up.
yeah,
Yeah, probably.
yeah.
I was pretty confident with your 113 subscribers.
Oh, you checked. The
I did
stats?
check,
Nice.
yes.
I knew we were like at like 100, but like yeah, 113. That's a lot of people.
Yep.
Hey,
Imagine that amount of people in a room.
that's like half of our year, isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah, it's more than half.
It's like
More than
More than half.
2/3. Yeah,
It's incredible.
that's
It's
crazy.
incredible.
I mean, we have students listening. We have teachers listening. We have teachers' children's listening. Whatever.
Who else do we have listening?
We have other kids from other schools listening.
Ah,
We have think that's it.
We have Angus Hern listening. Let's
We have
take it over to
Angus.
him for a
Yeah.
moment. You're sitting there a little bit quiet. Let's take us through your day.
Through my day.
So what we have a popular question is, what are you going to get when you go to Kentucky Fried Chicken?
What am I gonna get?
Have you ever gotten a box?
Oh, we talked about this yesterday.
Yeah, true. Let's change the topic actually.
Yeah.
You're at Bunnings, right?
Yeah.
You see Mitchell. What do you say?
I see him at
You
Bunnings.
shake his hand?
Yeah.
Hug him?
Yeah.
Oh, both
Why
of
don't we
those
talk about
things?
Angus' rap career?
Oh,
Let's talk about that. Angus, take us through. Have you gone platinum? Does anyone listen to it?
I
Do you
haven't
want
put
to
anything
sample?
out yet. No.
Oh, do you plan to?
At some point,
Can you
maybe.
give us
Maybe
Declan,
right
I
now.
don't know.
Can
It's more
we-
for my.
Oh, yeah.
Could
Can you give
we
us a
get
sneak
a
peek?
taste, a sneak peek right here?
If we
right
Declan,
now?
drop us a bit.
If we drop.
I don't.
Wait, do you make your own beats or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Sorry,
wow.
you
Yep.
can do it.
Yeah, you do it
Okay, you do it
yourself.
then. Do the
Can
beat
you,
and the
you
rap.
tell me what to do because
If you tell Dec the lyrics, you can do the beat.
You're the
he can sing
professional
your
here,
bit.
so.
Oh, I think I'll skip.
You
Because
sure?
what I want to do is get it to a point where it's good enough. Because I don't want people to see the
Steal it.
process
That's
of
right
me
now.
getting better.
Long time.
So I
cool.
want it to put
Alright.
it like when it's done. And it's not done yet.
So when you're 50, we'll see it.
Sounds about right.
What kind of rap is it?
Whatever I feel like.
Ooh.
What do you
Kind of like.
what do you rap about? Is it
Yeah, what's the lyrical content?
Is it about society?
Not
is it
really.
about
I guess it's more personal.
your problems,
These streets?
your emotional struggles, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
growing up
Nice
in the
struggle.
burbs?
the rough streets of
The
Hillary?
hard streets, mean streets of Hillary's?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Going to a very
Do you live in
challenging
the
private
country,
school?
Angus?
I did live in the country for a long time.
Ooh, whereabouts?
Querity.
Oh, sorry.
Where's that near?
Just
Nowhere. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's
Near
in the
Whoop
wheat
Whoop?
belt.
Up shit creek?
That's the one.
Did you grow wheat out there on your farm? I'm guessing because
Yeah.
Cattle, perhaps? Cattle range? No? Yes, maybe.
No, I didn't have any experience. with
Can you
cattle.
give us the definition of what a hunter-gatherer lifestyle is? Can you give us the definition of that? Take us through it. Because I know from personally you enjoy that level of lifestyle.
I do indeed.
Take us through it. You know, you're a fisherman, you do spearfishing.
I do. I
And you
like my
like
diving
hunting?
and spearfishing.
scavenging in the bushes for berries and stuff like that. I guess no.
No, not really.
No.
Just the fishing.
Okay, so take us through that for a moment.
What exactly about it? What are you intrigued about?
What do you fish for specifically?
Ah,
What would you call a good catch?
What kind of rig do you
Roman,
use?
I call you a good catch.
You're being too kind.
Demersals, bottom feeding fish, they're pretty good.
Do you go out on your boat, or is this like from the beach, like reeling out, or
Bit of both.
bit of both? Yeah.
Ooh, what kind of, is it your boat? I believe it is, right?
Well,
No?
yeah, well,
A communal boat?
my parents' boat.
Okay, okay.
Flex.
Rich go check.
Yeah, we go out every now and again around spots around Roto and stuff. Good fun.
Ooh.
Do you have your skipper's license?
I do indeed.
Can we get a round of applause for that?
Roman, do you have your license by any chance?
Yeah, they're working on it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Driver's
Is it yes
license
or are you
skipper's
working on it?
Yeah, you know, yeah. So, Andy,
Yes.
let's take it to you.
Is everyone keeping up with the Area 51 raid? That happened recently, didn't it?
Yeah, take us through it.
Take me through it. I didn't actually see much of it. I was
75?
posing the question onto you per se.
Okay,
You're a bit of a
from what I
internet
heard,
whiz.
75 people have showed up.
75.
Yeah, which is pretty funny compared to the 150,000 people who said yes.
2 million.
Well, I know a couple of
Two
people in
million,
this
yeah.
room ticked going on the Facebook.
Oh, I did.
I did as
So,
well.
I
Yeah.
did.
You want to explain to me why you didn't follow
Why I
through
didn't
with that?
go? Just didn't believe it at the end of the day. I knew the aliens didn't exist, so
Respect that.
yeah.
I love a man with convictions.
Why didn't you go?
Why didn't I go? I didn't tick going on the Facebook event, so I
Okay.
didn't just lie.
So why didn't Nicholas Franz go?
Did he tick going?
Why didn't I go? It was my birthday, like close to my birthday at least.
Okay.
So I didn't want my birthday present to die, to just be dead.
Huh?
So yeah.
Fair enough.
What about similar to a raid closer to home? The climate strike happened recently. Did anyone?
Did
hear
anyone
about
go?
No. I don't believe climate change is real.
That's a thing.
that? Let's go to Declan. Let's talk about that.
Exactly. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on striking for climate change if it doesn't exist? Is it useful?
what-
Should it happen?
No, because it doesn't exist. So
It's
like,
disrupting big
just
businesses.
like, oh,
We're coming
day
out
of
of an
school.
ice age.
So like, yeah. Oh, Ice Age is a good movie. That's a good point.
No, we're coming out of an ice age.
Oh, right,
That's
yeah.
the argument that you
Yeah.
have.
What's
yeah,
your argument?
I agree.
Don't we have a resident debater in this room who could potentially debate about climate change?
Emily
Is climate
Bradley.
change real?
Yes.
Oh, that's it.
That's it. It's real. Then.
You didn't ask me why. You just asked me if it was real.
Oh,
Yeah,
why
just
is it real?
Nonsense. I don't know.
What this is going so. Wait, what did you say before? You said something before. About.
It's cold.
Why do you guys have different ties?
Huh?
It's really annoying me.
One's
We
the
have
year
different
12 tie,
ties.
and one's the
we have
normal
different
tie.
ties as well.
Alright.
We're just too poor
Angus
to
is
buy
still
it.
in year 11 because he's not old enough yet.
Well, you held back a year, Angus.
Yeah, I didn't pass pre-primary.
That's why he has a rap career. You know, he needs to go somewhere in life.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Like shapes and numbers, like square, triangle, and then that's it. It's actually, I actually heard a bit, sorry. Ronan told me, your younger brother. Ronan's so weird. Have you met Angus's younger brother?
I have not, no.
So Angus, right, in year, we're in year 10?
Where is this going?
No, I just want to compare like how you and Ronan are really physically different.
Why
physically?
Okay.
Because everything else are pretty similar. No
Are you
offense.
seeing how much you can get cut out of this podcast?
Yeah. No.
By no offense, you mean that Ronan is better looking than Angus?
No, it's just that Angus is tall and lanky and Ronan
And you're calling fat and small.
No, I didn't say that.
You're alluding to
Anyway, Roman, what were
First
you
he
saying?
says climate
Sorry?
change isn't real, and then he says that Angus's brother's ugly. So
Big shout out to Ronan, big listener.
Yeah.
Big listener.
In the spirit of the finale,
Christmas. Finale, yes.
did you guys want to ask us any questions? Like, any questions on the top of your mind? Anything's
Where
been
did
bugging
the
you?
idea of starting a podcast come from? I don't know if you've addressed this previously.
We
but-
have it. We'll do it again. So,
You idiot.
so basically, it was me, and I had the idea. I don't know. I listen to podcasts in my spare time, so maybe that's where it came from.
Can you name a few that you like?
I can. The Joe Rogan Experience, of course.
Yeah.
Shout out.
no, he's a listener.
Yeah,
You know,
big
he's a
listener,
listener.
big listener.
In terms of comedy, I listen to the David Dobrik and Jason Nash podcast. I don't know if you watch David Dobrik's videos, but yeah. What else? You Made It Weird with what's his face? Pete Holmes. That's also pretty good. And there's this other one, but I won't say it because it's embarrassing. But yeah, so those are the.
Oh, what is it?
I can't.
You've got to say it now.
All right.
Like a My Little Pony thing.
Dude, you're not far off. It's
The baking podcast.
It's called Mamma Mia Out Loud. Alright, and it's a podcast run by 3 women in media, and it's I'm blushing so much right now. It's meant for women, okay? That's what it's directed its audience at. But someone was telling me about it, who told me that they had listened to the podcast. I'm like, oh, I listened to this one. I'm like, okay. And I thought, just for the lol, I'd give it a listen. And yeah, it actually turned out to be like quite good. Like they provide good, interesting discussion and stuff. And so yeah, I've been listening to that recently as well.
Is it about Mamma Mia, the movie?
No, I think that's
So
just.
it's literally just women talking.
No,
And you're embarrassed about that.
Is it just a giant gossip con, is it?
No, it's not like that.
Nathan doesn't really talk to many women in real life, so he goes to external
By
sources.
Nathan.
No,
Sorry.
Do you like
Nathan's
listen
on
in the
my
mirror
mind.
and like practice talking back to them? Is that
yeah.
your confidence booster?
No, not at all. No.
So what's it about?
It's about 3 women who just talk about topics. Like on the last one I listened to, they were discussing how Brad Pitt's career and some other actress career, how their downfalls have been portrayed differently, and how they focus on women's more negatively. It's just
For everyone listening at home, we're all making fun of him.
they're literally just making fun of me.
So I'm not following where the embarrassing part is. So it's just women talking.
It's aimed for a female audience.
Wait,
not
can
a
you
male
answer the
audience.
question though?
What's the question?
About Brad Pitt and the other actor?
I think it was Reese Witherspoon, and how. I can't get into it. I can't be bothered. But basically, yeah, it's just the reason why I listen to it because it provides a different point of view from, of course, a female's perspective. Because most of the podcasts I listen to, it's from a male's point of view, and of course, it's on different stuff, and just broadening my intellectual horizons. So
would you say you're inspired by that in this podcast?
Probably not. It hasn't really had much of an influence on my podcasting career so far, but in terms of my listening, it has definitely influenced how I think of stuff. Yeah.
Are you and Raymond planning on continuing the podcast career past high school?
Yeah, what's next?
I actually had an idea, because we're both gonna go to UWA most likely.
After Hours UWA?
Yeah, the UWA podcast called the After Hours UWA Podcast.
I'm sorry, that's copyright for our school now.
I mean, maybe if UWA like allows it, because I don't think they have a podcast that's like specifically their brand, so we might like make.
If they do have one, we can just commandeer it.
Roman, can you do a cooking show?
Absolutely.
For all listeners at home, Roman's actually a very good cook.
He
And
is.
he's very interested in food, and I've had quite a few cooking experiences with Roman.
I brought in a cake of tiramisu today, actually, that I made last night. A bit of late night baking at 11 o'clock at night. Nothing is better than that. Because once you're done at around 10:30, 11, then you have to wash up. So it's around, 11:45, possibly 12 that you actually finish. And once you finish and get into bed, man, I just did that.
What about
I've
when
dominated.
you forget the sugar?
Yeah, what happened with that, Roman?
That was the best thing that's ever happened in my life.
Tiramisu?
So I forgot to put the sugar in the tiramisu when I was making the custard. So what you do is you get your 6 egg yolks, put them in a bowl, whisk it with sugar. It was 11 o'clock at night, so I forgot the sugar part. I just didn't read it. I just saw egg yolks and was like, yes, egg yolk. And then I made the whole custard thing. I did it all.
So you
and
made
I was
an
like,
omelette.
No, but then I mixed that with mascarpone cheese and whatnot, and then whipping cream and whatnot. So, and then sitting there wondering, why is this so liquidy? So then I had to put it in the freezer for around 30 minutes to get it back to that consistency, and then I finally realized I haven't put sugar in it. That's why it tastes so bad, and the consistency really isn't there. So I used my big brain. And I said,
whose big brain?
My big brain.
Yeah.
My big brain. I used it, and I said, I'm going to put honey in it. I'm going to put honey in it. I'm going to whisk that round. Hey, get that sugar feeling, that sweetness, sugary honeyness. And that's what I did. And then I made it, and then you can taste the subtle hints of honey in it.
So you really love cooking, right?
I love food.
So, have you seen Chef by Jon Favreau?
I have seen Chef. I watched it not that long ago, and by golly gee,
That's an excellent movie.
It was actually a really good movie.
That's like the opening scene where he just goes there and he's like, and then he cuts it off, and the guy comes in and the opening. You remember the opening scene where he's like making? He's just like first thing in the morning.
The whole
he's just
thing's
like,
about making food, Declan.
Yeah, well,
No, but like when he's a chef,
You can fast forward to any scene and it's just him cooking.
No, but like just the intro is just so cool because like it's just in the morning and he's just like so cool.
I think we can really get some life views from that movie.
It's
Like,
so good.
well, what does he say? I may not be a good husband, I may not be a good father, but I'm an excellent chef.
Do you really know chef quotes?
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Have you? Oh,
Do you
do you
know-
remember the bit where he's like, oh,
You know
Declan,
the-
we're not.
You know the meat they have that they used to make the cubanos?
Yeah.
I've made that meat before.
You've made that, mate.
Yeah, I have.
You've also made the pasta.
Did you?
I've also made the pasta that they use with Scarlett Johansson, which is, I made that for Bethany and she quite liked it. So,
Round of applause.
It's like an Alcoholics Anonymous session. We just applause after everything, and I love it. So what was the question? Whether or not I've seen Chef?
No,
I have
yeah,
seen
oh,
Chef.
yeah.
Have you
It's
seen
good.
Chef?
Well, I've seen it twice.
Wow, round of applause for that.
My favorite scene is when he's talking about memes. It's like, I'm a meme! And then like, that's a... It is, I won't lie.
Speaking of memes, is TikTok a big epidemic within?
Yes, it is.
It has spread to
Great
St.
technology.
Louis, yes.
I just had form today, and my whole form was filming a TikTok together.
Wow.
Quite fascinating.
Is it
Do we have
only-
any TikTok superstars in the room?
No.
What about in the school?
There is quite a few in our year.
In the school, it's quite cringy, yes.
Yeah.
But,
I feel like ours hasn't spread too far yet.
There's
Like, it's
apparently
getting
has
big.
in lower years
Yeah, in
they
the
like
lower years.
just
No, lower years, but our
No,
our
I could
year
name
12
at
group.
least. Yeah, there's quite a few.
It's only been within the last few couple months though, really.
Yeah, no, yeah.
When
But
people
like,
are doing TikToks at school, like dancing in front of the
Yeah.
teacher, doing
Yeah,
a all-night dance,
yeah.
and then the teacher turns around and they're like, I'm not doing anything.
I think it will become the next Vine, like, and bigger probably.
it's already is.
I think
it
it already
is,
has.
yeah.
It's been going on or whatever. There's a kid in the Bloss with like 80k followers though.
Wow.
That's his kid.
It's in year 10, isn't it?
No, he's in the year below us. He has frizzy hair. He has like frizzy hair.
Shout out to the kid with
Oh,
80K.
I know that
He's a
guy.
big
Well, I don't
listener.
know him, but
Oh,
I've
yeah.
heard of him. Yeah, he has like heaps.
So when you say
heard of him?
when you say superstars at St. Mark's, like, is that 100k, million sort of range, or?
I'm not completely
113
sure. Doesn't Josh and Karam has?
Isabel Bennett,
I think
Finn
Karam's
Mason
in
have them.
And
And how many?
Chloe
is that?
Muller.
Finn? Finn's got a few.
How many
They've got
followers?
A few thousand each.
Oh, it's
No, that's
nothing.
views.
Oh.
It's not really the followers. It's more like how many views. you get.
Karam's a TikTok superstar.
Karam, tell us about your TikTok career.
We've got bars.
We've got bars.
we're
Alex
the
has got
bars.
bars.
Angus!
You guys can have a rap battle.
Whoa,
Epic
really?
rap battles of history.
Wait, do you mean the
Maybe we can do Herbert Hoover
No.
and Stanley Baldwin.
I need a backing track.
Maybe.
No, I'm not going to be back.
Alex, I still got the back.
Karam. Step forward. Next to Declan.
Alright.
Tell us about TikTok, Karam.
Karam is a TikTok superstar here at St. Mark's.
Yep, I've got about 6 followers.
Wow.
What?
A round of applause for that, please.
Almost double digits.
What's your most viewed TikTok?
I've got one,
Okay.
and it's me and Josh.
Josh and I. Continue.
Yeah.
Continue.
Go on, use your words. Yeah.
And
Diaphragm.
we made a TikTok.
How many?
Oh.
Alright, thank you.
What are you doing?
I think the more important thing
What are you doing in this
is
TikTok?
that on Josh's TikTok that he made, he's got one too. We got 2,000 views.
That's impressive.
And
That's
like
really
50
impressive.
Likes.
50.
And it was
50.
I don't know.
That's not a very good
20
rate.
likes.
That's not very good.
Because people don't care. They just watch
Or they don't like it.
it. That's not possible. We recorded it on a train, and it was like a high
Was that the
train.
night of the literature play excursion thingy?
Wait, no.
Emily was there
Emily
as well.
Emily was watching.
You were there for the TikTok they made on the train back from the lit play thingy.
The TikTok they made on the train back or the train there?
The train.
The truth comes out.
The plot thickens.
Because
The
I
train back.
What?
No, the train.
I didn't
It's the
catch
one
a
where
train
they're
back
doing
with
the
you. We
foot
went out
dance
to the Avery.
Oh.
Oh yeah, you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh yeah, you did.
Oh yeah, you lied, Carl.
What the hell,
Oh.
Carl?
I'm sorry.
That fire.
Got any
But
other
we-
secret
Fire.
TikToks you want to tell us about?
Can't we do the backing track when I present?
Sure.
I had one question for Patrick. So.
Yeah, hit it.
So yeah, we got a lot of views, a lot of clout. I think we can really develop our.
I think people just look down upon you more now, more than anything.
I
They'll
think-
just be
I feel as if
like
the looking down people like you and I are now in the minority, which
I feel
scares
like,
me.
yeah, we're gonna be in the
It feels
minority
if there's a
soon.
social
why
revolution.
Why
I'm not
should
part
we
of it
perpetuate looking down on others?
because it's a TikTok.
And they're probably
I actually
full of
recently
them.
saw a TikTok a girl in our cohort made, and it was just making fun of the special needs kids, and that was the whole TikTok.
Oh yeah, that was really
They're
cool.
That's
It's kind of.
I think they're starting to look at censorship now on TikTok.
Oh, I got banned on TikTok.
Did you actually?
No, yeah, I
What did you
did. Did
What did you do?
Oh,
Please
Wait,
tell us
is
the
it?
story.
Oh, is it
Is it PG?
PG? No.
Okay, never
Yeah.
mind. Moving on.
Just Declan has been banned from TikTok.
Oh, I know that one. That's
Yeah.
when you kick the bottle.
No, it wasn't that one.
Is
it
it
was
not?
it was just me with the
Can I
music.
pose a question to Dec while we're on the podcast here?
Sorry?
You do a nightly streaks routine for your Snapchat.
Oh, don't bring this up. Oh,
Would-
no.
Do you think you just run us through like the creative process behind that?
There
Because
is
I
none.
want to know the
Wait.
story behind the Teletubby, man.
The Teletubby.
Yeah.
So one
I think you need to
day.
explain context for people.
The
who
pro-
don't know.
Okay,
picture.
so Declan shares streaks. You know, I'm on the Snapchat thing. This is what the kids
It's more
are
of a
doing.
nightly show, though.
It's more of a nightly show. Majority of the people, I'm pretty sure, don't even send the streaks back
Nope.
to them.
How many
I
people
don't.
do you send it to per night?
101.
I've seen him do it. It's
Right.
online.
That's more views than this gets.
And every night he does it, and it's always
Something
something
podcast.
kind of different. There's a lot of Teletubby though, and I want to know what's up with the Teletubby.
I just really, I don't know. I just had it, and then I was like,
what's her
What?
name?
Lala, the yellow one. Yeah, and
Just for the viewers at home, I'm very familiar with Lala.
yeah, no, Lala's probably my favorite. Poe used to, the red one, where he's small. He's like the baby one, and like he has the circle. Yeah, okay,
I'm
sick.
familiar with Poe.
Yeah, familiar with Poe. Sick.
What are the others? Where are the others? The other two.
Dipsy
Yeah.
is the purple one, and
Yeah,
like,
okay.
there's Lala,
Tinky
Poe.
Winky.
Tinky Winky is the green.
Purple, isn't he?
Oh no, Tinky Winky is the
He's the
purple,
big boy.
and
Ah.
Dipsy is the green.
Can
Yeah,
you do your
yeah.
Teletubby voice, Ross?
I can't.
Do it.
I don't know. The only thing I know they say is uh-oh and chubby custard.
Do it.
Come on.
Tubby custard as well. Into the mic. Into the
Right, right. Okay, come on. Give the man.
They do say like that though. It's true, but it's like the thing is, it's kind of a bit more like nightmarish because you hear that and it's like, oh, it's high pitch. It's like friendly for kids, but like the Teletubbies, you know they're giants, right?
Yeah, they're,
That's terrifying.
Not life-size, normal-sized men in suits. So the sets are massive.
Wow.
Did you hear recently, actually, you know how the sun is a baby?
Yes,
He's actually put up there in the sky.
It's actually a woman, and they recently had a child of their own. So how sweet is that? It's a full circle moment.
The sun and the baby.
No, the sun and the baby. No, the sun, which is a woman, but is a baby.
You mean the baby in the
baby
sun is a woman
in the
who's
sun
grown up
who has
and
now
had a
grown
baby.
up and now had a child.
Okay, I think that was
Okay.
a
That was so
clarification
confusing.
needed.
But
yeah.
what about the vacuum cleaner?
They used to scare me as a kid.
Yeah, they used to freak me
Its
out.
eyes
man.
like were always wide open.
And it was
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah, they're sucking
Yeah.
things up. I used to get scared, terrified even.
Always want to try tubby custard though. It was like pink. Do you remember tubby custard? It was like, it looked like nice. It looked really nice. It was like pink and really liquidy, and they drink out of the bowls, and the bowls would be surrounded by a straw, and so they drink out of the straw. It comes from the bottom, goes and it comes up. You know, this like fancy
When was the
straws.
last time you
Yeah,
watched?
no,
Yeah, I was just about to
actually, I
ask.
know what he's
A
talking
few
about.
nights
It's kind of
ago.
cool.
Not kidding.
I think
I watched an Teletubby
Explain-
compilation.
Explain.
I'm not joking.
Do you have a lot of them? Have you watched a lot of them?
Huh? At least 4.
Do you have any
No,
DVD sets?
I have VCR. I'm not kidding.
VCR?
Yeah, I have VCR.
Do you have a
Teletubbies.
player? Like to play it on?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we still have a VCR player.
What's your favourite episode of the Teletubbies?
I don't know.
What's the best season, you'd say?
the best season? The first, obviously.
Of course.
The
Does
original.
anyone remember there's like a beach ball that rolls down on the beach next to like the
Yes.
coloured houses?
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm, yeah.
Sort of haunts my
Do you
night.
remember? Do you remember?
Amen.
Oh, actually, I remember my favorite episode. Sorry, just going back a bit.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Is when it didn't really have anything to do with Teletubbies. It's just like, I'm not sure which Teletubby
So
it was.
how's that an
but
episode?
no, just they're like looking in their belly, and you know how they look in their belly.
They have
right?
TV
'Cause they-
bellies.
And there's, yeah. there's
Yeah.
Wait, can we get a
television
replay of that
tellies.
voice, please? Thank you.
No, but okay, so they look
Just
in,
replay on the
and they
video.
just like looking as static, and it's like you're inside the TV now, and it's just someone having a bath, and they like it was like and like there was like heaps of like what are they called, rubber duckies, and there was this one rubber ducky they had like heaps of normal ones, but there was a brown one. I think it had something to do with the ugly duckling, but like Teletubbies just like ripped that story, but the ugly duckling rubber ducky was so cool and different from the others. I wanted it. And like I was like, Mum, I want that, and I never got it. I just remembered. I'm gonna bring this up to my mum when I get home.
Can I pose a question in the group regarding Teletubbies? Do you think it's actually like a dystopian nightmare with all the surveillance constantly with the Teletubbies, bellies, the speakers that rise up from the ground?
You never see any other survivors
Really?
in this
Yeah,
hellscape.
right.
It's just
True.
the Teletubbies.
And the constant sun baby that watches down on them.
Yeah, and they're just
constantly.
like
Global warming.
climate change. Is climate change real?
Teletubbies.
Why do you
Let's
keep
bring it
asking
back.
me that?
The Teletubby suits are the protective gear.
Hazmat suits.
There's
Hazmat suits.
Is climate change real? Yeah or no? We'll solve it right here, right now. I'm not scared.
Do it.
Yes.
Get
probably.
Stromo in.
It is yes to not being real.
What?
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 That's a yes. Anyway,
Climate
what was
change
your
is real.
original
Moving on.
question,
But if it was real, then why do we have to strike against it?
Why are we striking climate
What?
change?
We're striking against the government for doing.
Oh, the
not
government.
enough
So it's a
action.
government strike.
Fun story, the Sacred
Maybe
Heart.
it's not real. I don't know.
So
I
it's
don't
not
care.
climate change, it's the
That was a
government.
fun story.
Was
Why
it
don't
fun
we just
story,
tell
Dec?
Let's tell us the fun story for a
Well, the
moment.
Sacred Heart official statement on climate change is that we support climate change. In fact, it was said at the last assembly by our environmental captains. Actually,
Shout out to
Shout out to
Rob.
Rob.
Yeah, shout out to
Ashley
Rob.
Bradshaw.
Big listener.
And Ashley Bradshaw, yeah.
yeah.
I'd love to get into climate change more, but Alex has prepared a rap for us, and he's ready to perform it live as we speak right now. So,
Karam's on the beat.
Karam's on the beat.
Come closer to the
You
mic,
have to come a
Alex.
lot
You gotta
closer,
come
man.
closer.
Jordan and Clara are here as well.
No,
Live
we
audience
can
shout
do
out.
Do you want to come around here? Is this like
Is the
perfect area?
fairy thing sort of
Because I don't know if it picks up as well when you're
Is this like
public.
a
Alex.
Alex.
Wait, is this a character you have
Alex?
going on? Or?
Just like
Or is
say a
this
few
just-
lines so we can like see the audio thing.
Hey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're good. Just stand.
Good.
Anyway,
Karam's gonna beatbox. We were rehearsing.
Angus has some beats. Make it a full
Angus
circle
raps
moment.
as well.
yeah, Angus is also a rapper.
Yeah,
Why don't all three of you?
Oh, Angus can do the ad-libs.
Yeah. Woo.
Angus is a musician. He's the most qualified here.
Yeah, Angus can do the
You're part of a
ad-libs.
band, aren't you?
connection
you're in a
between
band?
schools. We'll have
You're the
Angus
hype man now.
and Alex.
Well, no,
Alright,
I think
together.
I'll leave it because.
Oh no, you can do
Oh,
the ad libs.
oh,
Do the ad-libs.
No.
You can do the ad libs. They're pretty,
I think you're better at that, Andrew.
Nah. Let's go, Angus.
Alright.
Come on, Angus.
Okay.
When you're ready.
Do we have like a
Where's the
metronome for the
beat?
man?
Where's the beat?
Oh, actually,
Where's the
yeah.
beat?
Karam beatboxes. Karam.
Come on,
Beatbox for me.
Get on that mic.
I make a good
On that
job.
mic.
What tempo are we looking at?
We're looking at 180 BPM.
Don't shake the chair.
That's like.
Alright.
Okay.
Have you already meant
Is
that?
this part of the beat?
Real close.
Yep. Yep.
The song started.
You can do it, man. You can do it.
Alright.
Oxygen.
Take it away.
Damien and Roman. They have a good podcast. This is episode 21. And it's also the last. I have so much drip. I thank God for my slimes. I'm not one to dip. So don't wait for my lunchtime. Oh me, oh my. What a year it's been. I'm so fresh and so fly. Kai Marsden is a kingpin. Matt Lowndes was head boy. So let's not forget that all of his jokes were low-key the best. Keep going. Keep going.
Fun never stops.
Don't interrupt me while I'm eating my lunch. When I'm in maths, these numbers I crunch. It's the last week of school. I was like, are you serious? There's no more form time and no more study periods. I hate school. Okay. Yeah. I hate school. I think it's a pain. But I loved it when Jankowski fell through the storm drain. Okay, I got one more bar. It's the end of the podcast and an end to an era. But it will live on forever and ever.
That was actually really nice.
That was really nice, man.
You can frame this if you want.
It's going up on the
Put
wall.
it up on the wall?
Yeah.
Cool. I signed it too.
Oh, can Karam sign it as the beat?
Oh, yeah. Oh, pen?
Yes.
Preferably blue. Okay.
Go.
We need like a declaration.
This is the declaration.
5 years, that's gonna be worth
Everyone's
a
gonna
lot.
sign it.
Oh wow.
How do we continue on from there?
I had a question.
You were about to discuss Angus's band.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
You're in a band, Angus.
Yes, I am.
Tell me about that. What do you play?
In the band, I play guitar.
Lead, rhythm, or
Rhythm.
just rhythm? Oh, you're one of those bands.
So I write the music.
The actual music and lyrics, or just?
Yeah, both of them.
Yep. And what's your band called?
Grey State.
Very nice. So I'm guessing you have a bassist as well.
Yes, we do.
A lead guitarist.
Yes.
And a drummer.
Yes.
And do you have
Pollard is actually our drummer.
You're the drummer?
Mm-hmm.
You don't sound very proud.
No,
to be the drummer.
I'm the drummer. Sorry, I was just.
What's the band's name?
Grey
We
State.
just said that.
Yeah.
So, does one of you act as the singer as well, or do you have another person?
No, we have another singer.
And they just stand there and
You
sing?
do backup vocals singing.
Sometimes they dance around.
Yeah.
Have you guys released any music?
No.
No, we haven't. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus for 6 months.
Definitely.
We do have a new band.
Yeah, there's a
playing
new band.
October 19th
That's true. October
at
19th
the garage
in Osborne Park.
in Osborne Park. Be there, be square.
October
I'll
19th.
actually be
October
there.
19th.
Like-
Legit.
Yeah, Roman, if you're not there,
dude,
I'll cry.
come this
I'm
Saturday.
coming.
Though.
Wait, is this a
Where
new
are you performing this Saturday?
Oh, YMCA HQ. Wait.
I thought it was at the garage and I was
Now,
like,
he's,
oh.
now
I'm
he's,
just plugging.
he's
now I'm
confusing.
just
He's in
plugging
another band.
gigs.
Another
No, yeah.
band.
Oh.
He's in like 3.
Declan, how many bands are you actually in?
Bands that actually play 2,
How many bands are you technically in?
4,
We don't
How many
plug
bands have
all
you
the.
been in?
5.
And
Would I like to plug all the upcoming
Yeah,
dates?
let's talk about Coursera.
Coursera. All right, Coursera has an EP coming out by the end of this year.
Are you in it?
I hope so. Yeah, Coursera is like a very experimental kind of psychedelic rock inspired
That sounds
garage
good.
rock band.
Where can we find it? Where can we get it?
Nowhere.
There's a gig this
As of now, but we're recording stuff right now, but I couldn't because school. So we record all the rhythm guitar and stuff.
And we'll find that on Spotify, Apple Music, or
Not as of
SoundCloud.
Declan actually has a couple of songs on SoundCloud as well.
Are you just hanging out?
I
with
sure
dads?
do.
A solo musical career.
Yeah,
I do.
He's in another one.
I sweat music.
I don't know if you know this actually, but Roman's technically in a band.
Is he?
Oh, I heard about this actually. I remember.
Please elaborate.
Alright, so he's in a band and it's with me and it's with Alex.
Yeah.
We're talking about the band right now.
Oh, the band.
Yeah.
Should I be
You should probably come on, yeah.
Okay.
Take a
And-
seat. Take a seat.
Take a seat.
Okay.
So basically,
The band that has never played, never. We did "Sweet Child of Mine" for like
That's a classic.
10 seconds,
and it was
and that was the peak.
You were
Well, it
talking
was your
about
pick.
in a previous episode that you've been in a band previously,
yeah,
haven't you?
yeah. I think we did.
I've
We
never
did.
been in it. Wait, have we
Yeah,
been?
didn't you
I
do
mean-
the jazz band?
Moving on. Yeah.
What instrument do you play, Roman?
Don't worry about it.
Roman was the bassist.
Oh.
However, he
Doesn't know how to play
this
the
true?
bass.
he struggled at first with
I,
the bass.
I said, let's make a band before I actually owned the instrument.
Yeah, I remember helping him find one, and then you asked him for lessons, but never.
We did once.
Yeah, I did give you a lesson. I
Yeah,
remember
once.
That was quite
really
cute.
good. Yeah, that was cute.
Do you remember our jam session we had, Roman? You brought the bass over.
What instrument do you play?
I play guitar.
And the soul. Don't you? Yes.
The soul.
Moving on.
Soul.
Moving on.
It's got really central.
Plays the heartstrings.
Patrick, as the year 11 here, has the podcast had an impact on the year 11 cohort?
No.
Are there listeners out there?
Yes, there is a listener.
Who is it? You?
Me.
Are you sure there's no one else?
I know there are two people who do listen to it.
That's
who are
from
in year
Oh,
11, but
yeah, I feel
two
like
other
I
people.
feel like there's a
I
few
got that
listeners for the podcast now. Yeah, I think it's been plugged a lot recently, and I think more views have been happening.
Yeah,
That's what I like to
Okay.
hear.
How is it promoted within the school
Yeah,
specifically?
have
So-
you found enough support from the school itself?
When
Yeah.
when it was first released or whatever, it was in a notice on the notices on Sector for like a whole term, and yeah, so that's where kind of the word got around.
Was
But,
it also
um,
in the newsletter?
It was
I
also
think it was
in the
yeah, it was in the
newsletter.
But it
newsletter
hasn't
as
been
well.
like publicly talked about at like an assembly or something.
No,
It's
that,
like
I don't think they're
oh.
actually allowed to self-promote.
Mrs. Bacall just gave us a shout out.
Oh,
But that was kind of like a
Yes.
cheeky little nod to like the podcast. It wasn't like, hey everybody, there's a podcast, you should listen to it, type of thing. But
So really,
but
it's
yeah.
quite impressive you made those numbers just through word of mouth, really.
I mean,
right?
yeah. I think Mr. Rogers, who listens to these, shout out Mr. Rogers because he has to approve
Big
them.
listener.
Big listener indeed. I think he talks about it in like the staff room with all the other teachers. So yeah,
It's
perhaps-
mainly by word of mouth that we've
yeah,
gotten it
word
around,
of mouth really.
Would
Are
you
you hoping
approve
for
my
that?
bars?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's the one specific which I'm concerned about, but I'm not going to bring it up. Yeah, I'm not bringing it up. But
What do you have to say, Karam?
I think it was pretty PG, to be honest. I didn't see any swears or anything.
nah, it was G, wasn't it?
Gee.
Yeah, it was G.
Gee, wow.
I'm pretty sure it was E.
I was confused about one line, or more, wanted have you guys ever gone on the website Genius?
Do you want me to
Yeah.
verify in front of
Yeah,
you?
do it.
What-
Do it.
what-
Yeah, find it.
But specifically on the storm drain one.
Oh!
I've heard about
That's
that.
a
I've
funny
heard
story.
about that
I
one.
have to know.
I haven't.
Jen
I've
Casey
heard
on the
about it.
storm
So, who wants to take the honours of...
I don't know.
I was actually there.
Go, Roman,
Yeah,
go,
so
Roman.
you should be the one.
So,
Primary source.
Matthew Jankowski, big shout out. Hopefully a big listener.
Big listener.
Big listener.
Personal hero.
Was at the school 2 years ago?
Last year.
Last
He graduated
year.
last
Wow,
year.
my perception of time's all off. So he graduated last year, and like 2 or 3 years ago, he was playing handball with his mates. There's a storm drain, which is, concrete, but I'm guessing it had weathered away. The ball went over. I was walking to my, my friendship group or whatever, and this dude just sinks beneath the earth. He's gone. Straight up the storm, like the handball had gone over to the bushes. He went and stepped over the storm drain. He just went straight through it. and it was the funniest thing I think I've ever seen. And I've never seen a community more just come together over it. And he took it like a champ. He just laughed it off and was like, He went home, changed his pants, and came back to school.
That's really?
That is respectable. He said, "I'm sorry, but I'm going to be 20 minutes late for my next lesson."
Was this year?
No, it was like a couple years ago.
Oh, so wow. It's like a legend.
It's a legend.
So
yeah.
The man went through concrete.
Yeah, kinda. It's a legit storm drain that's there. I don't know I don't know what happened. I guess
it's the only culture that we can like hold on to today.
Yeah, I do
What's
fall into a
left?
storm drain. It's the most exciting thing.
Plus this podcast.
Plus this podcast.
Should we do the 10-second fun fact and ending question stuff? Because those are kind of.
Or should we all do some fun facts? I'm sure some of the sacred.
All right, yeah. All right. So next
Should we
segment.
just give everyone a second?
We're doing 10-second fun facts. I don't know if you know this segment of the podcast.
Oh
do
no,
you?
I love this segment.
Yes.
Yeah. So basic premise: there's 10 seconds. You got to say a fun fact about yourself. And
about ourselves.
yeah, it's going to be a high stress situation. So since there's like 100 of us
but
here,
my fun facts
we're getting like
There's 13 of us, including Clara.
there's 13 of us. I don't know if Clara's. She will not be participating. She's good. So we'll make it like. I think a minute's too long.
It's 5 seconds per person.
Is it?
Yeah, so if one person uses.
Okay, starting with
okay,
Angus on 1, 2, 3, go.
Go.
I was an air rifle state champion.
Cool.
Eddie.
Andy.
Or whoever next.
I have a black belt in Taekwondo.
I have a black belt in Zendo Kai.
I got into the state for rugby.
You have to do it, Nathan.
You're actually running
skip
it.
me.
Okay, so I never wash my hair.
That's gross. That's not a fun
Is
fact.
that fun?
That is a fun fact. What are you doing about it? Go.
I think that should be brought up in therapy. I think.
Probably.
I'm not having
I
fun.
love Kung Fu, but I'm too scared to try it.
I drive a Russian car.
I don't wear a helmet when I ride my bike.
We'll talk about that later.
Go for three.
I don't know.
Anything. Quick.
I have nice glasses.
Okay.
I'm red-green colorblind.
3 seconds. 2.
I
1.
currently have an aquarium in my room.
Perfect.
I'd like to just pose a question to the group. Do we think that there's a link between the not washing their hair and only being able to listen to women speak?
Okay.
With the evidence provided, I can see it's a one-on-one.
Is it
match.
correlation or is it causation?
I think it's just correlation. But it's not even that, because I'd like to make public that I can
Causation.
indeed talk to women. Okay.
Do it then.
Beth, how's it going? How are you?
Yeah, it's gone good.
Cool.
Yep.
That was scripted.
This is embarrassing me now.
Beth, did you enjoy talking to Damien just then?
Yeah,
Does his
it was
greasy
great.
hair put you
It's
off?
not greasy. Look, this is
Did
not
the fact that
greasy.
he's never washed his hair in years, does that
But
put you
define
off?
like not washing your hair.
Yeah, do you wear a
here we
shower
go.
cap?
Okay. The hair gets wet under the
Okay.
shower.
Yeah.
I
I've
just
been there,
don't
I've been
use shampoo and conditioner to wash it.
What about just like normal soap? Nothing?
No.
Do you feel bad for your hairdresser when you go there and they have to deal with this?
Dude, I haven't
greasy
cut my
mess?
hair in a while. I shaved it all off last year because I used to have hair down to here. I used to have tie it up
Is it
definitely,
because they
but-
refuse to cut it now? Because it's just so disgusting.
No, it's just because I don't want it cut short.
Well, it's
I
supposed
just
to be
want to
better
grow it
for
out.
your hair if you wash it less. So
Exactly. Boom.
I mean, Beth, I noticed you have dreadlocks, right?
yeah,
Yeah. I assume they take the same kind of maintenance. Do you shampoo?
I do,
Dreadlocks?
but about once a week. Quite easy.
How often do you
So, yeah.
shampoo your hair, Andy?
Me? Once every 2-3 days.
Yeah.
I was just curious if you have really good hair.
Oh.
Angus?
Yeah, I'm same as Andrew.
I mean, Angus can't really talk on this matter because I believe he didn't wash his hair for a good 3 months.
Two
I think
months.
It was about
I
6
did-
months.
I mean,
And
if I'm
that-
being
what
I don't think
happened
that makes
was-
it any
It was
better.
2 years, wasn't it?
if I'm being completely honest, it's more like once every 3 months or something. But
Okay.
I
Do
basically
you have
say,
like a specific day on your
No.
calendar? Ooh, it's washing
That's
day!
good.
It's like
No.
the winter solstice or something. Stars align.
I'm actually born on the winter solstice.
Really?
Yeah, 21st of June.
Wow.
Round of applause for that.
Why wasn't that your fun
It's
fact?
I know, I should have said that, yeah. It's the shortest day of the year, so that kind of sucks because it's my birthday, but
Do you have like your shampoo and conditioner in like a special cabinet? It's like locked.
You gotta smash it.
No, I just...
In case of emergencies.
No, I just don't have shampoo or conditioner. I think my family just shares, and I just don't...
But why?
What does your family think about it? Are
Me
they
not washing my hair?
disgusted? Yeah.
I don't think they realize because it doesn't look bad.
Ooh, yeah. You've just been outed today then?
Yeah, I mean, I've been exposed. Yeah.
Can you afford it?
No,
No, it's
I
not
can't.
that.
Yeah, that's why I don't. Yeah. All right, Emily is leaving. Goodbye, Emily. Thank you for being
Bye,
here.
Emily.
You have been a part
Thanks
of the
for climate
legacy
change.
of the podcast. Bye.
I have a question. Angus, are we going to shave your head and look at your hole?
Ooh. That's a fun fact.
That is a fun fact.
Tell us
Actually.
about the. You legit have a hole in your head. I felt it. It's weird.
It's not a hole, it's a dent, okay?
Very
It's a
good.
gift.
Tell the story. Come on.
Alright, so. As a child, my mother was quite clumsy. One day we were on top of a balcony.
And she
Had a couple of drinks. No, not quite. So, as the skull forms, the plates come up and they fuse. And mine kind of, like, tectonic plate, like, Himalayan on me. So I have a bit of a dent. And I have a dream to clean shave it and walk around as a sauce dish as a party. And have everyone eat a bit of sauce out of my head. I'll provide the chips, of course. Do you want to feel it?
Feel it.
My hand's clean and safe.
Okay.
Everyone at home.
This is my first ever contact with a girl, by the way.
Life-changing experience. So
You'll find it.
Yeah, feel for it.
Oh.
It is so weird.
Wow. You could fit a bit of sauce in there.
I fit an egg in there for a good 2 hours. I walked around with an egg.
nested in it.
Wait, a cracked egg?
No, like a whole egg.
Can I see this dent?
You absolutely can.
Can we release the medical biopsy like on the description?
Oh.
So everyone
We can X-ray his head and put it like.
yeah, put it in the description.
Does it have any effect on your mental?
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't that happen because your brain's too small?
Well, my brain is just more advanced and compact. Such as the change from
It's smooth
Neanderthals.
as well, isn't it,
Yeah,
Angus?
it's smooth actually. Similar to koalas.
Should we do the final question now? Or? I think it's like
Or more than an hour.
it's
Yeah,
an hour.
yeah.
Okay. So ending question. You all know what it is probably. Roman. Ask away.
So this is a very personal question that I ask everyone, and this is going to be the last time I ever ask this question. So
Don't cry.
I know I'm on the cusp.
Emotional.
If you could be any component of an aircraft, what aircraft component would you be,
I love this
and
question.
why?
Starting with Nick.
Roman's asked me this before, so I always pick autopilot. So I'm actually doing something and not. I feel like you'd get bored after living for a very long time. So if you're the autopilot, you get to crash the plane and everything. So
Yes.
Very nice. Very
Declan?
nice.
Probably the wheels because.
We've never had that answer.
Really?
Yeah,
No one's
man.
ever said the wheels
I
on
just
the
like
thing.
whenever the wheels like come like down, they hit the ground, they sound like really hurt. It's like and it's like oh, ouch.
Almost like
I feel that's how I feel inside. So wheels.
Yes.
Angus.
No. Okay. Anyway.
I would say the top bit of the tailpiece at the back.
Nope. Explain it.
The bit that changes the horizontal.
The rudder.
The rudder.
Yeah, the rudder. I'd like to be the top part of that because you get a very nice view all the time.
It's not what you'd like to be; it's what you are.
Are you the rudder? Do you have a nice view all the time?
Yep.
Do planes have gears?
Fair enough.
They don't.
Declan?
I don't think planes have gears, Mitchell. I'm actually
I was wondering.
You need a manual license to drive a plane.
do they have autoplanes?
Sorry. Look, I've given this a bit of thought,
You could
actually.
stall the plane midair. I don't know.
Oh no, ladies and gentlemen, we just stalled it.
Handbrake
Decrease
turn
the
in the-
altitude. Nah.
Look, over the. You know what? Okay. I was going to say, it's a little bit sentimental, but I was going to say that unlike the flaps of an aircraft, I like, yeah, like
Okay.
the bits that control, the turn and
They go
the-
up and down.
Yeah, right? And I was
Well,
thinking,
they don't go up.
do they not?
They just go in and then out.
All right, so
You've
They
changed
go
my life
downwards.
with that information.
Because they don't go up.
I've seen them go up and down. Next.
Depends what plane it is.
Yeah, they go up. That's how they
Okay.
stop.
Okay.
It's an aircraft, and you're gonna have to specify now.
Okay.
Give me a specific.
On a
class.
Boeing 737 jet, their flaps go up and
Do they
down.
classify as jets? Please look it up.
Anyway,
Anyway.
No, we're gonna fact check.
Hold on.
Boeing 737. Is it an Airbus or a jet? Because if it isn't a jet, then you have to change.
You have to change your answer.
Yeah.
Completely.
You can't do the flaps anymore.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, it is.
Wait.
Yeah.
It is.
It doesn't say. It just says that it's a plane.
It uses jet turbines, does
Anyway,
it not?
keep going.
Turbines?
It's a
Yes, jet turbine. Yes, that's just what I'm imagining.
it's an Airbus.
I had some issues with that.
Why
today.
only the flaps?
Happens.
Why
Anyway, the
Why are you
flaps
academic
because we'll get to it because the flaps because regardless whether I'm up or if I'm down, people can always rely on me.
No, they can't.
Because if they fall out.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that what like the life?
Like I'm
jacket
always
things are for?
important.
The life jacket.
I'm always
The plane's crashing. Strap your life jacket
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
I feel like I want to be always important to people whether I'm up or down.
Once again, it's
We'll
not
look
what
that
you want
in.
to be, it's what you are.
Well, okay.
What are you?
I feel like I am.
I remember I was in a plane, when it was about to crash once. The flaps didn't do anything.
Was that why?
The flaps were the reason we were going down.
Were you on a Boeing 737 Airbus?
Probably.
Is it a jet or an Airbus?
Did you have a turban on at the time?
No, I did not have a turban on at the time.
This is got
Okay.
This is two.
Mitchell.
If I had to choose one part to be, I would be the oxygen masks because most of the time you don't have to do anything. You can just sit and chill. But when you do come out, it's like, craps hit the fan. Like, it's exciting when you're coming out. Like,
Exciting.
Exciting.
You're sitting there, it's you're coming, and then they go, deploy oxygen mask, and you come out, everyone's screaming, everyone's
death
running
and
around.
suffering, I think, to
Exactly,
me.
yeah.
When I was in this plane, just going down, I was on it with the American trip because me and a few students went to America with the school.
Right.
And one of the science teachers, Mr. Adler and Mr. Finnemore, were behind us. They were chatting around. They said, when the plane started going down, Mr. Adler turned Mr. Finnemore and said, "Don't worry, it's only bad if the air masks come down." About 20 seconds later, they come down. He's just going like crazy next to us. It's quite funny.
Alright, you're a component of an aircraft?
I've already said mine.
Yeah, well, can we?
These guys have already.
We're just saying again.
Bethany hasn't.
Again.
Bethany.
I didn't think far enough ahead. Probably just like the paint on the outside and like the artwork. So you
Like
can,
the Qantas
yeah,
kangaroo?
like it's their creativity. It's how they're recognised.
Yeah, alright.
After a while, it just gets replaced.
No, really, that's a joke.
Where's away and replacement you go?
I'm sorry, that was
Just for like a
It's completely surface
full
level.
circle moment, can we have the two hosts say theirs again?
Okay.
Do
Do you remember what yours was?
I do remember. I will change it because it was the toilet, but okay.
That's character development.
Yeah.
Why would you
my
be the
art
toilet?
is incredible.
It's the scariest place to be.
It's just it
Yeah,
blows.
it makes that
It
horrific.
blows,
Yeah.
it blows my mind that you're able to have a number two like thousands of feet up in the air.
So women can finally sit on your lap.
Okay, that's definitely going out.
Yeah, write that timestamp down.
114. Yeah, that just blows my mind. So that's why I chose the toilet. But I will change it.
So what?
It doesn't even make sense.
I'm thinking.
What do you think should Raymond say his?
Yeah, probably you should do that.
What's my mind? I don't think I've ever said mine actually.
No, you didn't.
You did. What did I say?
Don't tell him.
Get it up, you can listen to it.
Oh, I want to do that now. Maybe like the. Ooh. Maybe.
You can just cut out the silence,
Exposed
right?
here.
Depends that you can
I'd be
ask
the
this question.
joystick because I'm having the most fun.
Oh.
I'd be the carpet. No, that's bad. It's
The carpet gets really dirty.
Yeah.
You can just step on it.
Well, I mean,
it's
the
his
carpet's never clean, so.
So is your hair.
Carpet it is.
It's appropriate. You know what? I'll just be the whole thing because I'm that awesome. I'll just be the whole plane.
Wow.
Yeah.
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 That's a nice
Yeah.
way of it,
Yeah.
Isn't it a component?
No, I'm the whole plane.
And on that bombshell, so draws an end to an era.
Alright, this is
The end.
This is the end of season
end.
1 of the
Much like-
podcast, After Hours. St.
Yeah.
Mark's. It's a bit sad, not
Yeah.
gonna lie. This is the
Can we
last.
get a clap?
This is the last time. It's gonna be the last time that we're talking to the people at home listening.
Bye-bye.
Do you know how that feels?
Do you feel like half of you's just empty right now?
Yeah,
Half
I don't know what to
shell
do with
of
myself
empty?
anymore.
What am I going to do next week?
What am I gonna? Yeah.
Therapy, probably.
Do you think leaving the podcast has made leaving school more difficult or more meaningful for you?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I reckon looking back on it, I'll be like, hey, remember that time I made a podcast with you? Remember? So
When Nardwar interviews me, he'll bring it up. And I'll be like, yo, how'd you get this? And he'll be like, well, do we have to
How'd you know about the after hours?
But yeah, it is a nice thing that this is specific to our year, so
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah.
And so, yeah.
I
The
mean,
end.
Bye-bye.
thank you for
To the
listening.
very
Not just this episode, but the whole thing.
To the 10 or 12 of you who've made it to this point.
Who've actually listened to all of them and all of this. Thank
Seek
you.
help. Oh.
Oh, no. Thank you to Mr. Rogers. He deserves a shout out.
And
And Dr. Bailey
Dr.
Smith.
Bailey Smith as well.
They've listened to all of them and had to approve them. Thank you to all the teachers who've listened to them, even though, there's really no need.
If you listen
Why
to a
would you?
podcast, we love you.
Even if you listen to like 1 minute and like, nah, this is trash.
If you if you didn't listen to it, but when I asked if you listened to it, you said yes. I
Thank
love you
you.
still. It's that level of being nice that kept it all going.
And yeah, that has been an After Hours podcast. Thank you for listening. And
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Later.